The fourth inning, The Way Things Are Now, Coney Island, New York, 1908, Chapter 2. Walter felt 1,000 eyes on him as he walked among the guests at the Brighton Beach Hotel. He was sure every single one of them was staring at him and thinking, Jew. That he wasn't Jewish made it all the more infuriating. He and his family weren't anything. They didn't go to temple and they didn't go to church. They weren't Jewish Americans or German American or any kind of hyphen American. They were just American. What was it then that made all these people see him as a Jew? It couldn't be his last name, no matter what his father said. Schneider just sounded German, and there were plenty of Christian Germans. He put a hand to his face. Was it his nose? His curly hair? His complexion? Did he have Jew written somewhere on him he couldn't see, in some language he couldn't read? Walter saw a Pinkerton security man strolling down the Brighton Beach boardwalk and scurried off into the long, crowded field at the foot of the hotel. As big as the place was, it, it would be quite a coincidence to run into the same Pinkerton twice, but it didn't hurt to be careful. For all he knew, they'd put up a sign in the Pinkerton break room warning, be on lookout for fighting Jew. The waiters were still at their game, and Walter found a discreet place to sit and watch. There were more antics, coaches goading players into stealing bases, players speaking what sounded like Spanish, trick throws, hidden balls, primitive acrobatics. But mixed in with all the silliness, there was some real baseball being played. After 2 seasons as the bat boy for a National League team, even if it was one of the worst National League teams, Walter knew good baseball when he saw it. The big Cuban pitcher he had seen earlier was the best of the lot. When he and his team weren't clowning around, he would rear back and fire the baseball at his catcher with all the force of a cannon. Walter half expected to hear an explosion and see smoke as the pitcher released the ball, but instead the only sound in sight were the ball smacking the catcher's mitt and the dust and dirt that poofed out of the leather. And all the time he watched, Walter never saw one batter even make contact with the pitch. What an addition this pitcher would make to the Brooklyn Superbas. Despite their superlative name, the team was truly mediocre, finishing fifth in the National League the last 2 seasons. A pitcher like this could make them instant contenders. Walter thought about approaching the pitcher after the game, but in the middle of the eighth inning, he spied one of the boys. He spied one of the boys who had beaten him up. He didn't have Walter's hat on, but he wasn't with his friends either. Walter stood and rounded the field, careful to keep an eye out for the other boys or the Pinkertons. The boy he stalked was the smallest of the three, probably 9 like Walter, maybe 10. It didn't matter to Walter how old he was. He was about to get the thrashing of his life. The boy wandered away from the baseball field, and Walter followed him down to the beach, where row after row of dressing tents stood unused. When no one else was around, Walter sprinted up behind the boy and shoved him into one of the empty changing rooms. Hey, what gives? The boy cried. Walter popped him one in the nose before the boy got his bearings, and then the fight was on. The little guy wasn't a good brawler, but he was scrappy. It was a nasty bout with biting and clawing and hair pulling. Once or twice, Walter thought they might go tearing through the canvas of the tiny tent. He eventually got his knee in the boy's back, and the kid's face down in the sand where he could rain down on him with his fists. The boy coughed and sputtered and begged for mercy, but Walter wasn't in a merciful mood. Did you just fall off the tater wagon, huh? Did you? I'm not a Jew, he said, punctuating each of the last words with a blow. When he'd beaten the fight out of the boy, he got up. The boy was breathing hard, but he didn't make a move. Tell your pals I'm gunning for them, Walter said. He kicked sand on the boy and ran far away from the Brighton Beach Hotel in case the boy or his parents set the hotel security after him.